Hey, what's up, y'all? So initially I was planning to do a breakdown today of Pokemon Z-A, but I'm not going to do that because I watched the trailer and to me it just felt like it was more of the same. And this isn't going to be a rant of the recent Pokemon games. Don't worry about that. I'm just starting to get to the point where maybe Pokemon just isn't for me anymore. See, I used to be a big Pokemon fan. When the original Game Boy came out and Pokemon came out for that, I was addicted to that. I got Pokemon Blue, my friend got Pokemon Red, and we were both addicted to that. I remember as a kid, my friend or I would ask him to go out and play, and we would just take our Game Boys and play together the Pokemon games, catching them all. That was huge. We were fans of the cartoon, the anime. We were fans of the movie. We were fans of the trading cards and also the trading card game. I love that game, by the way. And then Pokemon Gold and Silver came out, and that was to this day, that's my favorite Pokemon game. And my interest started to slowly go down ever since then. I just felt each Pokemon game since then kind of followed that same formula and was kind of felt like the same thing. So that's why it just kind of, my interest kind of went down. I remember I had a dream Pokemon game. I was waiting for them for a long time to kind of have that evolution of Pokemon games. My dream Pokemon game was on the GameCube, and it was like a 3D adventure where it essentially followed the same formula, except it was 3D. It was more open world. It's kind of like, of course, it didn't come out at the time. It's kind of like Breath of the Wild Pokemon Edition. My dream vision for that Pokemon game was kind of like that. And then Pokemon Legends Arceus came out, and that was the closest thing to that GameCube Pokemon game that I've always wanted. I never completed it, but I still had fun with it. And then Pokemon Violet and Scarlet came out, and I feel that would have been great, except the frame rate was the thing that kind of ruined it for me. I think that had a lot of great ideas within it, but the frame rate, unfortunately, kind of ruined the game. So then they had this Pokemon Legends ZA. They announced it. So I was anticipating and hoping for this to be the next evolution for Pokemon game. And unfortunately, I did not think it was like this for me. And I'm coming to the point where I'm thinking that maybe this is what Pokemon will always be. And there's nothing wrong with that. Pokemon is still doing great. It is still that legendary franchise. When you ask any person to talk about like a video game series or a video game character, a lot of people will mention Pokemon. Everybody's heard of Pokemon. Everybody's heard of Pikachu. So it's a legendary video game franchise. It's a legendary video game character. And sometimes people complain because the series does not grow up with them. And sometimes it doesn't have to. I like to compare this in a way to Star Wars. I remember when the Star Wars prequel came out. I was in high school when the Star Wars prequels came out. And everybody in my high school hated it. Even the diehard Star Wars fans. They all hated Star Wars. 20 years later, a lot of people loved the prequel Star Wars, right? Maybe because they were kids when they saw the prequel Star Wars, and today they're adults, so they have very fond memories of this. I wasn't born then, but I remember hearing that when Return of the Jedi came out, a lot of people back then complained about that as well. Because Star Wars has been and probably will always be for kids. So I'm kind of curious, like a lot of people are complaining about the Star Wars sequels. Will, like 20 years from now, kids who watch Star Wars, the Star Wars sequels, have very fond memories of it, and then they'll say those were awesome. And then 20 years from now, they'll say today's Star Wars is bad. It'll be like an endless cycle. So I don't really want to complain that Pokemon is not growing up with us because maybe it'll always be for kids. Maybe it'll always be like this because I think sometimes people compare these to like Zelda and Mario, where Zelda and Mario will never be mature, but they evolved their gameplay. But maybe Pokemon is never going to be like that, and I think it's unfortunate. But you know what? Sales say that it still is very popular. This formula is still working until the sales start to decline. I don't think Game Freak's going to ever, unfortunately, at least for my sake and for some other people's sake, they will never make a change to it. And maybe it's time that I personally leave my fond memories of Pokemon in the past and behind. That's where I'm kind of starting to get the point of. And if you grew up with Pokemon like I have, if you grew up with Pokemon Blue and Red or Silver and Gold or um, the other ones I kind of slip my mind because that's when it kind of fell off. But Black and White. If you grew up with those, maybe and you're still a fan of it, that's great. I'm not going to tell you to not be a fan of it. The people enjoying games are still. It's the really the main thing, and that's beautiful. So keep on enjoying the games. I think my one disappointment, maybe it's my own fault for not for kind of getting my hopes up for this. Is there's no Pokemon Classics announced. Um, no Pokemon Classics game other than trading card games, as far as I know, are on the Nintendo Classics. Um, but yeah, so although that new Pokemon Champions game, I'm curious about that. Maybe that'll be fun. It kind of sounds like a Pokemon Stadium, and Pokemon Coliseum. But yeah, anyway, what are your thoughts of today's Pokemon Direct? Are you excited for Pokemon Z-A? I hope you are. I hope you like this trailer better than I did. I hope you like that Direct better than I did. And yeah, let me know your thoughts on it down below. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. And I will talk to you later. Bye, everyone.